You might remember that yesterday morning, Donald Trump said negotiations with Iran are done. There's no deal. The ceasefire is done. They don't want to make a deal. They're scum. They're cuckoo. It's all over. And then Donald Trump gets on one of his planes. It's hard to keep track of which at this point. And he goes, Iran just called. They want to make a deal really badly. Do they? Because you just said they don't. And you just said there's no more negotiations. And you said blah, blah, blah. But no. They want to make a deal.
We have many ways we can win, but we've already won militarily. They have very little left, and they want to make a deal so badly. They called a little while ago. They want to make a deal so badly.
Do they?
I just don't know if they're worthy of making a deal. I don't know that they're going to honor the deal. That's the problem.
If they want to make a deal, why do you think they attacked commercial vessels?
Because they're sort of crazy, to be honest with you. They're sort of crazy. They're a little bit out of control, but they want to make a deal.
So within about a 6-hour period of time, Trump goes, these people can never be trusted to make any deals ever, and it's done, and they're cuckoo, and they're scum, and it's over. To these people are so dumb. I could get a deal today if I wanted one, but now I don't know if Iran is worthy of making a deal. These are all lies. I hope people understand that this is all Trump shooting from the hip. Now, there was a really interesting moment, where in the midst of this nearly month-long absence from Mitch McConnell, who's allegedly brain dead on life support, unconscious, and has been for almost 4 weeks and isn't going to recover. That's one set of data. Trump is asked, have you spoken to him? And he goes, no. Oh, do you know anything about how he's doing? And Trump goes, I have no idea. Now, this was interpreted two different ways. Let's play it, and then I'll give you my interpretation.
They're sort of crazy. They're a little bit out of control, but they want to make a deal. Badly. So,
Have you spoken to Senator Mitch McConnell since the hospital?
No, I haven't.
How's
No.
he doing?
I have no idea.
I
I have no idea how he's doing.
At the beginning of before the date.
Some people are interpreting Trump saying, I have no idea how he's doing, as Trump really doesn't know, and he definitely doesn't care. That's not my interpretation. I think Trump knows how Mitch McConnell is doing. It's very difficult for me to imagine that a senator of Trump's own party, formerly the majority leader, one of the most powerful senators that there is, I struggle to believe Trump has no idea how he's doing. I think Trump knows, and Trump knows it's very bad. But he knows that he can't just come out and say that, because if he were to come out and say that, all of a sudden it would trigger all sorts of other problems, including, of course, that now what happens with Mitch McConnell becomes an immediate question. It becomes a political question, a legislative question, a Kentucky law question. Trump doesn't want that. So he goes, I don't know a thing about it. Donald Trump, with his very shaky math once again, saying he's going to. He already has brought prescription drugs down 400%, 500%, 600%. The pharmacy now pays us to take the medications, if you can believe it.
Story that hasn't gotten a lot of attention. Starting on July 1st, Medicare is now covering GLP-1 drugs for weight loss only. It's the first time it's ever happened. It happened under your leadership.
Yeah.
How big of a deal is that for people?
Well, because of favored nations, the drug prices have come down tremendously. And also, if you look at Trump RX, it's been unbelievable, the price cuts. But take a look at what we've done in terms of favored nations. We paid the highest drug price in the entire world, and now we pay the lowest drug price in the entire world.
Do we?
And that means 4, 5, 600% difference. Think of it. The press doesn't want to write about it. And to get that, I had to get the drug companies to do it, and they were good. But they were good because they knew that I couldn't get the countries to do it. You had to get both. And I called the countries. I said, if you don't do it, I'm going to put a very big tariff on you. That's more money. And every country agreed to it. So we went from the highest drug prices in the world, like in New York, a pill would cost $130, and in London it costs $10. So now it costs $20 and $20 because the world is a bigger place, so it's not really split 50.
You guys following this?
50. So we got it down, and it's a great question because that should have a huge impact on healthcare because prescription drugs is a big price, but prescription drugs have come down 400 to 500 to 600% under Trump. And that alone should win us the midterms.
Well, if you were paying people to take their pills, maybe that would win you the election. But of course, that's not what's happening. And prices are not down 400, 500, or 600%. We're just continuing to have arithmetic problems. We're operating on such a basic level with this president. Arithmetic problems is where we stand. Now, another big area of cost concern. He talked about prescription drugs, and his claim there is prices are down 600%. The other side is that housing costs are going down. Now, you might say, wait a second, are the housing costs going down because Trump signed that housing bill? No, he didn't. He refused to sign it, at least so far. Trump says that the reason housing costs are going down is we are sending illegals back to the Congo and Venezuela. This is not happening. And housing prices are not coming down. They're actually going up.
They wouldn't sell them. So, any other questions?
Yes, Mr.
A
President.
new Federal Reserve working paper came out, and it suggested that the illegal migration surge under Joe Biden caused housing costs to spike 30%. What is the lesson to be learned in
Well,
that?
what's happening is housing costs are going down and rental costs are going down because we're getting so many illegals out of the country. But Joe Biden raised the cost of housing by 40 and 50%. The cost of rental, because they were housing illegal aliens in all of those empty units, and now they're coming down because we're removing people that are here illegally, criminals from the Congo, from Venezuela. We love Venezuela.
We love Venezuela.
Maduro emptied out his jails. They opened up their jails, they let them in. But many countries did that. 25 million people, and I think we're getting most of the bad ones out, and we start the process, but we've done very well.
Unfortunately, this is all a fantasy. Housing prices are up in the United States. And in fact, if Donald Trump was really committed to doing something about housing prices, he could have just signed into law the bill to deal with housing prices. Now, that bill is not a panacea, as I've talked about. We talked about it extensively on the bonus show. It does some good things. It lacks other stuff. And, but it's something. And right now, what we have is nothing at all. Trump said, I'm not going to sign that unless you pass my Save America bill, for which there's no support. Finally, Donald Trump concluding the gaggle on the plane by complaining about the questions. Every question is a kill. He doesn't like real questions. He wants sycophantic questions.
But said they enjoy the flight.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you,
It
sir.
was number 5 or 6 or 7 today. And every question is a kill. But then we have Daniel and some very good reporters. You're a great reporter, Bob. Thank you. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you, Mr. President.
The one guy who asks softball questions premised on the idea that Trump is just treated so unfairly, that guy is the good reporter. What a snowflake this guy is. Appreciate you watching. Stick around for this next video, and don't forget to hit subscribe so you actually see our uploads. You can also catch the full podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.